You can stress animals in the laboratory when they're pregnant, and their offspring will be more likely to use cocaine and alcohol as adults. You can stress human mothers. For example, in a British study, women who were abused in pregnancy will have higher levels of the stress hormone, cortisol, in their placenta at birth, and their children are more likely to have conditions that predispose them to addictions by age 7 or 8. So in utero, stress already prepares the gun for all kinds of mental health issues. An Israeli study done on children born to mothers who were pregnant prior to the onset of the 1967 war, these women of course were very stressed, and their offspring have higher incidence of schizophrenia than the average cohort. So there is plenty of evidence now that prenatal effects have a huge impact on the developing human being. The point about human development, and specifically human brain development, is that it occurs mostly under the impact of the environment and mostly after birth. Now, if you compare us to a horse, which can run on the first day of life, we see that we are very undeveloped. We can't muster that much neurological coordination, balance, muscle strength, visual acuity until 1.5 to 2 years of age. That's because the brain development in the horse happens in the safety of the womb, and in the human being, it has to happen after birth. And this has to do with simple evolutionary logic. As the head gets larger, which is what makes us into human beings, the burgeoning of the forebrain is what creates the human species, actually. At the same time, we walk on 2 legs, so our pelvis narrows to accommodate for that. So now we have a narrower pelvis, a larger head. Bingo, we have to be born prematurely. And that means the brain development that in other animals occurs in utero, in us occurs after birth, and much of that under the impact of the environment. The concept of neural Darwinism simply means that the circuits that get the appropriate input from the environment will develop optimally, and the ones that don't will either not develop optimally or perhaps not at all. If you take a child with perfectly good eyes at birth and you put him in a dark room for 5 years, he will be blind thereafter for the rest of his life, because the circuits of vision require light waves for their development, and without that, even the rudimentary circuits present and active at birth will atrophy and die, and new ones will not develop.